everyone, and welcome to day 30 of my horror movie review marathon, and I've got 30 Days of Night. And I love vampires. But in this case, maybe not so much. A movie that is directed by David Slade, who, if you're not familiar with him, he directed Twilight Saga Eclipse, which is a movie he did after he made this movie, which came out in 2007. I had actually just seen this movie on FX like 2 days ago, and I hadn't seen it before, so it was actually a really perfect opportunity for me to see it. And the movie stars Josh Hartnett, Melissa George, and ironically, Danny Houston plays a really freaky looking vampire. Now, these aren't your typical vampires you normally see. They have like a new design to them. They're not like the classic like vampires that you've seen like the Dracula movies, and they're not like the Twilight vampires. They're just like these guys, only they just like to pack a huge punch to your throat. This movie is about this team that goes to Alaska. The entire month it is just in complete darkness, and bad stuff is happening. Vampires are on the rise, surprisingly, and you've got Melissa George and her crew. They're kind of like stuck there. She wants to get out, and I wouldn't be surprised either, because I wouldn't want to be in complete darkness. At first I didn't really know what to make of it. This is a movie that is based off of like some graphic novel, so it definitely had that feel to it. It had that, you know, right mix of grittiness and darkness and, you know, gore and violence. It kind of was like 300 but with vampires, with all of the snazzy special effects. I definitely, like, you know, found this movie to be really, really creepy and gross. Now, I wasn't too scared by it because I know, like, I mean, I don't have, like, a huge thing for vampires, and these ones, I mean, I wasn't, like, turned on by them like all those Twilight people. I definitely saw that they were just always, like, ready to get some blood, and anybody who was a survivor in the town just runs amok, and they just have to find some shelter because these guys mean business. Like, they were just gonna snatch you and then you were gonna be dead. To say that this was the best vampire movie I've ever seen, I definitely found it to be really underrated in my opinion. The concept of it, you know, was decent. I mean, there really isn't much to this movie, unfortunately. I mean, you've got this whole like sort of like small group of vampires led by, you know, Danny Houston, and they're out just to like get you. And then you've got like Melissa George and Josh Hartnett teaming up, and I was like, okay, good for you. I hope they get you next, because I mean, they were honestly not the best actors in this movie. Now, I honestly hate Josh Hartnett, like, with a passion, because he just reminds me, he has like that same sort of thing with acting that, you know, Ethan Hawke does. And I mean, Melissa George, she's been in a horror movie. She was in the Amityville Horror remake from '06. Didn't find any of their acting to be really great. Now, I guess it's kind of what you expect when you see a horror movie, that it makes up for it by showing all these like visuals with like vampires and all that stuff, but it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I mean, most of the time I was just getting so bored with it. I was like, oh great, more guys are just, you know, dying. They're just keeling over, killing them off, and it didn't seem like it was anything, you know, to be great about. I was just not that impressed with the movie. However, I did feel like the vampires had like another side to them. Like, they weren't always just like pure evil and killing people. I mean, I was gonna say, like, if they wanted to do some crazy alternate ending thing, they could have had the leader sort of, you know, take pity on one of the characters and then just be like, okay, join us. I mean, it kind of did that with Ben Foster's character, who is also in this movie, and I was surprised at how long, like, you know, they let him live for, especially when everybody else is getting killed and he's the only one that's like not. I mean, maybe I should pretend to be crazy too, and then the vampires will spare me. Yay! This sort of mentality, and it did sort of bring up the fact that, because in Twilight they had the Volturi. They kind of like reminded me of the Volturi a bit, where you're like, you're not sure if they're going to pity you or not, but they're still going to kill you in the end. So they kind of had that going on. Wreaking havoc, like, everywhere they go, before, you know, the month is over, and, you know, they're at risk of dying off anyway. Or at least going, like, hiding in a cave or snowbank or something, because, you know, sun's coming up and they need to get out of there, otherwise they're gonna burn up. All this movie, you know, it wasn't, you know, it tried to be visually stunning and had the special effects going on, but honestly, I hate vampires in this movie, and I've seen better vampire movies. This just wasn't one of them. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought of 30 Days of Night and what your favorite vampire movie is. Come back tomorrow for my last horror movie review, because it'll be Halloween. And as always, guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates. Come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. Guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And I'll see you guys later.